one third of 38 million people are making their student loan payments right now, which means 2/3 are not. And then we can talk about all the ramifications downstream of that and what it means to the credit scores of people that aren't making those payments. But that stat alone has me floored. I almost can't believe it.
To give some high-level flavor on the status of student loans in America, I think everyone probably has some version of the qualitative narrative in their head around currently where student loans are not good, but I want to give some quantitative context here. So most of what I'm going to say, just to let you know, most of what I'm going to talk about here is about federal student loans, which represents about 90% of the student loans that are out there. And it's the better data that exists is around federal student loans. So I'm going to go through some facts. Around 43 million Americans have student loans. So I know it's a little bit different than the 38, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's just call it 40. Let's call it 40 million people have student loans. There's about $1.6 trillion that's owed in federal student loans. Just let that sit in people's mentals for a second. So when you're talking about the 1/3 of folks that are paying, this is on $1.6 trillion in federal student loans. The average amount is about $38K that people have out there. It's a lot of dollars.
The average? Okay, do you have a median figure, though?
I don't have a median. I know. I knew you were going to say it too. I don't have the mode.
Because for those who don't know, the average is going to be skewed by the doctors that have 250
Exactly.
in student loans. And
Exactly.
Yeah, but okay.
Over 5 million borrowers have not made a monthly payment in about a year.
That's something. In any other debt situation, that's a massive red flag. I'm sure it's a massive red flag here, but this is all a little different because almost always loans for education do not disappear when you file for bankruptcy, which I have a huge issue with and think should be corrected, but that's just how it is these days. I read one of these articles twice a year or whatever, and I'm smacked across the face with the numbers. But I did not know, one, that there was 1 trillion outstanding out there. Two, that less than half of people, significantly less than half of people, are currently making their payments. And we're talking of that third that's making their payments. I'm assuming the large majority are making minimum payments, right? There's very few that are thriving in a way where they're paying this thing off early.
That's right. I mean, you're probably right. Because that's generally how these kinds of things work. So I just wanted to give that context. We can go back to the article specifically, but so folks have that in their minds. We're talking 40 million people. We're talking about 30 to 40K balance that folks have. It's a total of over $1.5 trillion that are sitting out there right now.
Yeah. So where the article goes is, okay, so the Trump administration has a different approach here. I don't think that's good or bad. I almost don't care. It's just the reality of where we are today.
Yep.
And what that means is a lot of people aren't making payments. And what that means for those people who aren't making payments is their credit scores are declining rapidly. And if they're also in a position, which typically someone who is a college grad that still has student loans is in that 22 to 40 range, they'd also be trying to buy a house. They might be trying to buy a car. They might be doing all those things. So a negative credit score impacts their ability to afford those things, as it should, because they currently have debt that they cannot pay. They currently have liabilities that they are not servicing. So I just think the downstream ramifications of that are fascinating for the economy as a whole.
And what I'll add, and we've hit on this so much in the past that I won't spend too much time on it, but right now we're just talking about student loans. And what you were hitting on, there's downstream implications of defaulting here. But that's not the entire debt portfolio that these folks likely have, given the current state of debt for the American consumer. You're talking about credit card debt. You're talking about mortgage debt. You're talking about auto loan payments. Like, there's so much different forms of debt. So this $1.5 trillion is just one element of it. And I'm not even getting to the buy now, pay later Coachella tickets.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm talking burrito bowls over here.
I got my burrito bowl on 17% layaway, bro.
It's funny and it's also not funny at all.
No,
It's
no, it's not. Because
concerning.
yeah, yeah. The only we jest about this because it's a show and we're here for entertainment. That's why we jest about
Yeah.
it. These are legitimately human beings, Americans that are here that are sitting on multiple types of debt, multiple types of loans that have been fed to them over the last 15 years. And it's different, but it's only like a cousin style different than when folks were fed mortgage debt leading up to the 2008 financial crisis.